everybody. It's 10 o'clock, so we're gonna get started. Tyler's gonna join us as soon as he can, and then Maureen and I are gonna leave, and he'll have to undo all the damage that we've done in the interim. Neither one of us have hosted this before, so we're not sure what you do. But I'll tell you, we're live on channel 955, so make it good. What can we answer for you, or what can we talk about? Construction updates, when this will go under construction, why you don't like something on the menu in the dining room, why do we have those wonderful wall decorations on the side rooms in the dining room? Anything?
You're pretty well informed.
I try. I keep my ear to the ground, my nose to the grindstone, but I only have eyes for you. So, what can we answer? Anything?
Where are you gonna be?
What?
Are you gonna be at the same place you are now, once we're done with this?
I'm gonna be in one of 4 places. I'm either gonna be where I am now, or I'm gonna be up in the meditation room, which is on the balcony level of 2nd floor, or I'm gonna be in the old boardroom, which is on the balcony level of the 2nd floor of Contemporary, or I'm gonna be someplace unknown. So it's gonna be one of those 4 places.
Well, that solves the problem.
I never try to let the facts get in the way of a
We
good
like
story.
second,
Pardon me?
we like your second or third choice.
Well, those are above my pay grade, and when we find out where it's gonna be, we'll let you all know. Frankly, I will tell you that being where I am now, that I've run into a whole new group of residents. You know, because it's not that easy to find me, but people walk past every day. Topics come up that we want to talk about, and it's brought out a whole new me. So we'll see what happens after April when they open up the balcony again.
Well, do you know where they're gonna store the stuff for the treasure chest that they took out of that closet space that we had?
My understanding is that what they were able to find again is now in the art storage room downstairs. Where it's gonna go from there, I just don't know. If I end up moving, it may end up in the office where I am now.
That's a good place for it.
I just don't know. As soon as I know, you'll all know as well. And you know, and I'll tell you, the important thing about that is that, I mean, Christmas at the castle has evolved. It has grown over the years. COVID has had a dramatic impact on it.
True.
But the treasure chest sale has become an integral part of Christmas at the castle. And, you know, it takes us all year to collect those items.
Yep.
And if we don't have an inventory, I mean, that's not a part of Christmas at the castle in the future. And I think that'd be a great loss.
Are you talking about all the items that were sold?
No,
No.
the items that were stored in that, you know that long hallway that goes back towards the beauty shop?
Right.
Back there were a lot of cabinets that had
Oh,
all the
yes.
stuff for the treasure
Yes.
chest.
Yeah.
Disappeared.
Yes, I know
So
they were
was it
cleaned out, some was tossed. I know that for sure.
Okay.
But not all,
Not all,
Okay.
not all.
some.
Yes, Carol?
So, you and I came up with a wellness clinic like all the other places around here have.
Yes.
And I heard of a possibility where we could find a retired RN. Like me, when I retired, I didn't have the energy to run down the halls, but I could have sat in a clinic and did an assessment and made suggestions, ER, whatever. And I'm just pushing that out for a thought.
We were hoping you might volunteer.
Right.
But,
I would love to.
yeah, I mean, clearly those are issues that Tyler and Lindsay have to discuss. I mean, I understand, you know, that we would like to see more coverage. Right now, if you want to see a nurse, you can go to the front desk and ask for one, and they'll bring one down for you from 3, 4, or 5. But I mean, I understand where residents would like more coverage, so that all you do is walk in and there's someone there to talk to about whatever's going on with your health.
I think they're looking at several different options right now,
Yeah.
and they do want to definitely make use of that
Thank
space.
you.
It's so nice.
Thank you, it's so
Yeah.
important to me.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
To us as well. We want the Carolyn Newell Clinic to become an integral part of what we do here at East Castle Place, an integral part of our service model.
Just the availability,
I agree. I agree. Having it there for everybody would be wonderful.
and that's what I wanted.
Good. What other questions can we have one chair over here.
No, I have to leave, so.
You have to leave, so, but if you come here, you'll be on camera, and then we can all see you when you have to leave. No?
Unnecessarily.
Okay, all right.
No.
What else can we answer for anybody?
Where are there going to be meditation spaces? Rooms?
What's going to be in the former water tower, which is Lakefront Terrace?
Lake Terrace.
Lake Terrace. I'm not familiar with all of the common areas that will be there. I know there's going to be 30 units of housing there, but I know there will be additional things like a theater, etc. There may be a meditation room there. I'm not positive. Where there might be a meditation room in regards to the existing historic, contemporary, or Bradford Terrace, I'm not sure. It may be something that's already existing that we've never used for that before. I think things will evolve once the campus is done.
And I'm sure Tyler knows. I'm guessing he knows where that would be, so
Yeah.
when he makes an appearance, that'll come.
We can ask him when he gets here. Maybe it'll be right next to my new office, who knows? Who knows?
Wherever that is.
Wherever that is, right? And I may be where I am now, who knows? What else can we answer for anybody? Yes?
What's the latest on the movie theater, its location, and what's its seating capacity going to be?
I was able to get a tour of Lake Terrace.
Lake Terrace.
Lake Terrace, I was able to get a tour of Lake Terrace. I saw the location for a new movie theater. I don't know that it'll be the only one that we have, but it's up at either 3 or 4 on Lake Terrace. The seating capacity, given the fact that we want to have more than chairs like this, we want to have comfortable chairs that people can relax in for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It's going to be like 15, something like that. So clearly not as large as Lindsay Hall, but you'll be much more comfortable, when you're watching a longer program. So there's pros and cons. It gives us an opportunity for multiple showings though. If there's tremendous interest, maybe we have an afternoon showing, an evening showing, something like that.
Are there going to be any temporary chairs, folding chairs? 15 should accommodate 75–80% of the times.
We've got the man himself who can give you the real answer.
Wow, look at that crowd.
I know. They heard Maureen and I.
I know, I figured that was the case. Thank you so much, Maureen and Mike. And
You're going to want to ask him all those questions again.
see if Mike and I answer the same.
We followed our motto where we never let the facts get in the way of a good story.
There you go.
So we're leaving it up to you.
Thank you, Mike.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Maureen.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Good morning. I apologize for my delay. Let me get my coffee. So I can actually have coffee with you. All right. What's on everybody's mind?
We were just on the movie theater.
Oh.
And the seating capacity is going to be about 15, is that right?
16.
15?
16.
16. That should accommodate at least 3/4 of the movies we go to. But sometimes we get 17 or 18. Is there any possibility of having like folding chairs or some other
Yes.
supplementary chairs?
Absolutely. There will
Okay.
be a stack of either folding chairs or chairs like that are Lindsay Hall that you can add to the sides.
Okay.
And then also for those larger movie events, 2 options. Obviously, Lindsay Hall will be available for those really highly anticipated movies, or we can run a matinee as well, and run it twice in the same day so that, you can kind of hit different individuals and things of that nature, so.
Is the equipment going to be transferred from Bradford Terrace one lounge, that stuff we're using here now?
No, it'll be brand new. Bradford Terrace will keep.
I hope it's as simple to operate as
That
Bradford
is-
Terrace as
well-
opposed to Lindsay Hall.
That is the goal. You will see, yes, to your short answer is yes. It'll be a smart type TV, a Blu-ray DVD player, and a surround system that plugs directly into the theater that should just be a volume up, volume down. So keeping it simple, knowing that if we do not have the staff, residents are able to run that, as well as if there's a movie or something you want to watch and the theater's not taken, pop it in and enjoy that theater type experience. So, yeah. The theater is also centrally located, and that's the reason why we put it there. There are no windows in the theater. It is in the center of the 4th floor, which hopefully will help with the darkness and the movie going experience.
Any idea when it's going to be ready?
When the building opens, July. So, what else?
Mike already took care of everything.
Did he? I was gonna say, shoot, I should have Mike do these more often. No.
Well, I have a simple question. Are we still going to have happy hours after the bar is open?
Yes. The question is, are we still gonna have happy hours? I guess I can segue into it. Yes, we'll have happy hours. However, each night you'll have the opportunity to have a happy hour, is the goal, but they won't be free. The free happy hours won't happen every night. The bar will be utilized with your points, so you can utilize your points for the bar area. Obviously, if you go over the 600 or 400 points, you will pay that and that will be billed. There is no cash exchanged at the bar. And obviously it's a little bit smaller venue than Lindsay Hall. But our goal is still to have that community type happy hour, whether that's in the bar area, or Lindsay Hall once it remains, so, yeah.
Because I think that would be a great way to get to know some of the new people that moved in.
I agree. And I think there's other lounges, where we'll be able to do maybe some of those roving type of bars as well. The 4th floor of the new Lake Terrace building will have its own, a larger lounge, obviously available to you all. And so again, there's a kitchenette. There is not necessarily a bar per se over in the 4th floor next to the historic building. But that's, again, another area that can accommodate a larger group of individuals. And then obviously once Lindsay Hall comes back, that's where everybody will be able to partake. So yeah.
Is there a plan for where they're going to move the bulletin board that has all the flyers on it?
Yes, good question. So the new library right off the front entrance there will be a built-in desk as well as a community bulletin board of sorts right there. You won't be able to see it if you just come in the building because it'll be kind of tucked behind. Basically, where those books were in those bookshelves, the historical books. Picture that, but it'll be a built-in desk where you can do sign-ups for the activities and things of that nature, alleviating some of that pressure off the front desk. Because again, still have access to ask a Lila or Famata, hey, I have a question about this, but also it'll be a more consistent place where you can go and then not have to worry about the other traffic around you. So. The mailroom will still have a bulletin board or whiteboard of sorts as well, but if you've been in the mailroom, you've seen how that's transformed to accommodate both the USPS code that we have to meet now, as well as the new residence homes. So really that area has shrunk considerably, and so the whiteboard or bulletin board will just be right as you exit the mailroom. So.
What are those big things in the mailroom right now?
Package. So Again, hopefully Amazon, USPS, UPS can utilize those for your smaller type packages and lock them up, and then you would receive a key in your mailbox to open up that locked box. So that's how you know if you have a package. And again, that's a federal code that we had to update the mailer because we're renovating.
So we'll never know if the mailman came or not at 11 o'clock, right?
Gary's still planning to be here, so
Usually
you'll
we
know.
see all the
Yeah.
packages, so we know he's been there.
And you'll still have packages
Yeah.
that I'm sure won't fit in the 4 or 6 slots that are available. So again, you'll know when the mail comes, I'm sure.
So people that are hooked up to Touch Tone now with their app, so if I put in a request for a light bulb, is it working?
Yep. Yes, so great question, Carolyn, and the question's about Touchtown, the new application. We're doing a focus group of residents, what I call kind of the super users. And I've asked Stacy to kind of just regroup with just that group to make sure we're all on the same page, and then to really structure it for the greater community and roll it out as a full application. It's gotten a little bit away from that because I think there's a number of different individuals that know about the app, have downloaded the app, and things of that nature. It is fully functioning, and what Carolyn's referencing is basically you can yourself put in a work order for your home in the event that your garbage disposal goes out, instead of calling Lila or Famata or the receptionist. And that goes directly into the same system that Lila and Famata utilize. So.
Thank you.
And also on that Touchtown app, as we roll it out, we'll have a full directory so that you don't have to, file through and try and find that directory. It'll also be updated continuously. The activities and weekly and monthly announcements are also on there. We're also looking into if we can do push notifications to that app. So in the event there's a last minute, fire drill or fire inspection, maybe we can push that out to let you know it's just a drill and to remind you and expectation. So that functionality is not there, but again, the system is robust. Kind of are, I wouldn't say we're just making the surface, we're a little bit deeper than that, but there's things we can add to it. So
The directory's working great.
directory's working well? Good. Because I think that has email as well as phone number, right? So,
Yeah, it does.
and I think you can call right from there,
Yes.
right? You can just hit the
Right.
link and it goes right to, so.
When is that app going to be generally available to everybody?
April. So, you'll probably see in your weekly calendars, there'll be a super user group, and then there'll be a larger rollout. And Kevin from IT is actually gonna help support us as well in that, so hopefully in April. Ms. Beard?
Would you bring this group up to date on the process that we're beginning to get talking traffic lights?
For the low vision group in the Alderman?
Well, yeah, because not everybody hears low vision and maybe doesn't know what we're working on.
So, Ms. Peer brought to my attention, as well as the low vision group, that is an incredible group here, of residents, have asked to, how do we improve the safety of, Bradford Avenue, Downer, and things of that nature. And so I have a meeting with Alderman Brostoff next week to move forward, hopefully in recommendation and strongly suggesting some changes to make it safer around the campus exteriorly, of course, for those that may have some vision impairment, which I think, more residents, need. And so that low vision group has put forth, new crosswalk signs, as well as pedestrian crosswalks in Downer Avenue. And you might see them elsewhere, but basically you push a button, yellow flashing lights go, and then as a driver you should be stopping for pedestrians, as well as the sidewalks. because obviously there's some cracks and some humps and different things that, you know, residents have difficulty, I have difficulty navigating. And so we're gonna approach Alderman Brostoff in our requests, as well as with the support of the low vision group of residents here. And I'm actually gonna reach out to Dave at the Catholic Home, he's the CEO there, because again, he has a similar group of residents right next door that also are trying to navigate the sidewalks on the Upper East Side. So, did I hit everything?
I can't remember if I mentioned this to you, but there is a group working on safer conditions on Prospect, closer to,
Catholic home.
no, further south, closer to St. John's, where the St. John's residence was hit by a car and killed. And I don't know any details about it. I heard it on the radio last week. So there's this group banding together to demand slower traffic and so forth and so on, and to try and find ways to make that happen and make that part of Prospect a safer street. So I'm thinking maybe there's a place there for us to kind of band together, but I don't know that.
Yeah, yeah, and Ovation Jewish Home is right there as well. So in Prospect, I mean, is even having parking on both sides, a narrower one-way, and people not necessarily obeying the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, and then just the different turns off there. It is quite treacherous, so I don't usually come up that way. I come up the nice Lafayette Hill and take in the lake on my way to work. But yeah, we will partner and see what we're able to do. Don't expect anything to happen the next day or overnight, but I think the more voice we can have is going to be better, and look forward to it. So, don't know if he's going to be here in person yet. I'm still working with his office. I invited him out for a lunch, or if it's going to be a Zoom call. So still hoping for an on-site visit from the alderman. To show off our beautiful campus, but B, always nice to have a little bit, reason to spend a little bit more time with an alderman.
Thanks, Tyler.
Of course. Thank you. What else?
This
Questions?
doesn't relate directly to us, but is everybody aware of that hotel project that's being proposed for Brady and Farwell?
Yeah.
And those artist renditions really look pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
And they're going through the zoning thing, and they passed the first hurdle so far. There's concerns about parking, but they're gonna take across the street, that parking lot that is part of St. John's, it's just been dormant for 2 years now. We're gonna make that into a large parking structure, so that should take care of the hotel and all that. And they're brought to my mind, it was just brought up about Prospect and safety crossings and stuff like that. It's way out of our neighborhood, it's further south, but they are gonna have special control lights. They're very concerned about pedestrians going from the hotel to the parking lot, and they have to cross by Royal Street on Farwell. But they're really concerned about pedestrians there. So if we are concerned about pedestrians up here, they're pretty sensitive to the whole thing.
Good to know and good to add. Thank you.
Well, there's also one intersection in Wauwatosa that I know has this, where if you're going to cross east to west, the traffic light chirps, and if you're going to cross north to south, it cuckoos.
Oh,
And they do that in Salt Lake City, all over the downtown.
really?
And that's something that would help low vision people too, to know what way to walk.
And we discussed that, and I think it fits well, and I'm open to offering it. It fits well in the commercial sense. In the residential, when you hear that at 2 a.m. and your windows are open, that's the concern, because again, it's not only us that affects. Obviously, there's apartment complexes and houses across.
Well, I don't know that they do it all night.
And if you can time it during the busy times of the day, it makes sense. I just don't know.
Well, I don't know how much it costs either, it may be prohibitive. but-
That is one thing that we haven't touched on is cost,
Yeah.
right? And usually that does play a factor into the work that's being able to be done on these things. Because again, if there's tax dollars that should be there to fix sidewalks and things of that nature that should not be borne on the East Castle Place residents or Catholic home. And, I'm sure they say, sure, go ahead, fix the concrete if you want, but, I don't necessarily think that that's.
Any difference in the mask restrictions? I'm thinking of when we go into Bradford
Yeah.
Terrace to watch a movie, we have to wear a mask from here to there, and then we take the mask off.
Right.
And it just, maybe it's just me, but I think it's silly.
Good question, Ann. The question is about the mask restrictions for you as residents walking into Bradford Terrace. And I know Lindsay had mentioned at the State of the Castle, we're looking for, that 5% rate before we kind of remove those restrictions. Currently Milwaukee's at 11% as of yesterday from a COVID standpoint. And obviously it's flu and RSV season as well. And East Castle Place has done quite well in navigating through that. And so as much as COVID is still very much part of life, it's also the flu and RSV that I'm also thinking of. But soon, hopefully we're getting into April and May, and hopefully that will be behind us. So the mask restriction is something that Lindsay, myself, Ashley, our director of nursing, and Teresa are discussing, because I know that Bradford Terrace is going to be heavily utilized when Lindsay Hall is not available, like for movies and different meetings and things of that nature. I know you all are vaccinated, and I know that a large percent, if not 100, are also boosted and maybe double boosted and maybe triple, who knows. But we are looking at that, and hopefully soon, and I'll be able to have a better answer for you into, what actually you need to do, because as you know,
It just seems silly to me, and I don't know if we're accomplishing anything.
Yeah.
No, it seems silly.
And that's the valid point that we're discussing, and we cast a large net and kind of an umbrella for the community of this is the reason why, and easy to enforce. But again, I don't have a traffic cop there saying, and you need to make sure you have your mask on as you're watching your movie or anything like that. The assisted living residents also are similar vaccination status, so I know all our staff are, so I think we'll be able to see some changes.
Can you tell us what the plans are for the renovation of Lindsay Hall?
Sure. You don't want to wait till March 15th to come back. No. So what's going to happen at Lindsay Hall? Primarily, the big things that are going to happen are carpet, paint. That partition wall is going to be removed. So it'll open up space a little bit there. We're adding in doors that will go into the storage, so that I would love to not see chairs constantly around Lindsay Hall when we reopen, but it's also much easier access. We'll have new technology, as well as an overhead speaker system, hopefully, and working through the hearing loop as well for sound, so I can Bluetooth into your hearing aid. And that is primarily it. New, again, curtains. The stained glass windows stay. The cross will come down and go back up, because this will still remain our primary chapel and religious part. And then the hallway gets all brand new paint, flooring, ceiling as well. The ceiling gets removed, new lights. The tables and chairs are going to remain because they're new. There is a life expectancy of them. But we're going to put these in storage and bring them back into play. The piano will come back into Lindsay Hall as well. But yeah, it'll be a full update. Unfortunately, right now, this is a little bit of a preview into March 15th, and I don't want to get anybody too concerned because it's easier to visualize with looking at a screen, but this, along with that hallway, will be shut down. for more than a day. 2 reasons why. You cannot fit a temporary partition like we have had in the main hallway, because this hallway is much too narrow. And there is a lot of ceiling work that has to be done, meaning tying in lighting, sprinklers, new ceiling tiles, things of that nature, and flooring, as well as this is their main path for getting materials in and out, is the courtyard into this. So there will actually be a partition up that residents will have to utilize the C elevator to the D elevator into historic, for instance, and vice versa, historic residents going from the D elevator to the C elevator to get to the main dining room. This is the most painful part of the project, and I think I've alluded to this in some regard. And again, working with the team to really come up with different solutions. Again, right now, tentatively, it's an 8-week plan. The goal is to make that much shorter, but want to plan for the worst, and again, surprise you when we're back prior to 8 weeks. So again, March 15th, you'll see a full, what I call phasing plan, where I'll have the floor plans on the affected areas. Also beginning in April, April 4th, the temporary partition comes down in the main area because the other side will be finished, but the main flooring down the center is not, and the ceiling work is not. So we're gonna be working through that, different pathways and things of that nature that I'll share with you on March 15th. The same program will also be run March 31st, so if it's that great, come on back, but it also, if you are unable to make March 15th, also know that there will be a number of written communications as well, kind of going through the navigation of the plan. We are going to be working with EMS and Milwaukee Fire Department for emergency response in ways around the building. But if there truly is an emergency, construction doesn't matter, you go right through. And so again, that's where we want to navigate and work through that with you, with Milwaukee Fire Department, our EMS services, and our staff, obviously, as well. So, yeah.
How long will Lindsay be closed?
8 weeks right now. So April through the end of June, which then is basically the duration of the project. So we're close. We've been in construction for a year. Sometimes it feels like 3, other times it feels like 3 months, so.
Well, this is closed, will that area over there be open,
Yes, and the second floor,
and the second floor?
yes. So Majarka, Stacy, and I have sat down to go through, different performers and things of that nature. The main dining room is gonna be a little bit heavier utilized as a multi-purpose space at times. Also, lunch will most likely navigate over into the bistro area, keeping all that pressure off of the formal dining room and for the evening, as well as I want to utilize the second floor as a space for roughly 16 to 20 individuals, kind of like where I would hold a coffee with Tyler. Might be a little tight, but there'll be a TV and some technology in there that we can utilize. So like for community life committees, the food and beverage committees, that space will be available there as well. Obviously the library will be back open, mailroom, and then a few other meeting spaces up on the second floor as well. So
Will there be a piano anywhere the 2 months that Lindsay is closed?
Bradford Terrace right now, and then there is one outside the first floor of historic. If you didn't know, there's a grand piano outside there where the organ was on 1R. So the performances that we have, we're not putting the grand piano in the dining room. It's a little too big, but we do have an electric keyboard on site that can play like a grand piano. So.
But oftentimes our programs revolve around a piano, so that would not happen for 2 months.
We have an electric keyboard, as well as musicians and performers that would bring in their own types of things. But yes, otherwise the programming would be on the second floor of Bradford Terrace. I don't know if any of you have seen that space, the activity room. A little bit larger, it's probably, I don't even want to say, but it's a bigger space. So there's a piano in there as well, so.
So if you go to the pub at night for a hot dog and a beer, will there be a waitress that will take your order and? Okay.
Great question. Initially, no. Initially, we need to get used to the space and staff it and get the flow of it. Initially, or long term, that's exactly it. We want to staff somebody, that 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock hour for those happy hour beers and things of that nature, a quick grab and go type of dinner, so to speak, and that would be staffed. And then you utilize your points. So initially it's gonna look probably more like that 2 day a week, kind of like a Tuesday and Thursday it'll be staffed. All the beer and wine for your dinner service will still come out of there. But we are actively recruiting for a bartender of sorts, as well as a lead type position that would manage that space.
Thank you.
And again, that space is going to be named the 1884 at East Castle Place. 1884 is when East Castle was established. Next year, we're 140 years.
I'd just like to plant a bug in your ear that the noise issue for those facing gazebo is about 25 residents that are involved with it. Continues to be a problem. I get occasional questions. Eric is the one you should address this to, but he is replacing 3 fans of the 6 that hopefully that makes a dent in it. It's going to be sometime this summer, I believe, and I'd like to get a more precise time as to when it would be early summer, midsummer, late summer. But the noise, if I step out on my balcony, it is just obnoxious. It's so loud. And I'm just hoping that this 3-fan motors make a dent in that sound system. But during the summer, if you have your windows open, those people who live on that courtyard. And Eric has said that the best that would happen is that they would bring it back to specs as it was when it was built. It's not going to take care of it and get rid of it. So we're realistic about it, but it is pretty loud right now. So I'd just like to keep you aware that this is an issue that is continuing to be important to people.
Yeah, and so the unit that Mr. Canito is speaking of is right out here, correct? It's what we call the free cooling system. It's for the heating and cooling for the contemporary building. And Eric is aware, and I know that once we have that scheduled, because I think there's certain temperature thresholds that we want to meet as we do our startups for the various chillers and things of that nature. With the 6 to 10 inches of snow that's coming tonight, apparently, stay inside. Well, that's out in my neck of the woods. That's out in Waukesha. So I don't know what you city slickers are getting here, but did you see 6 to 9?
That's what I said.
I heard this morning.
6 to 9? Yeah, and so again, winter storm advisory. But going back to your question, once we have that firm timeline, I do know the parts are on order. So
I'd like to commend Eric for his responsiveness since we brought this issue up about a year ago. He has been trying and to work with them in producing some results. So he's been doing a good job and he's on top of it.
I will make sure I pass that along.
Thank you.
Thank you. The other thing is that, I don't know, the chiller on the water tower, old water tower building was essentially past its useful life and was also kind of loud. That has since been taken off the roof. It is being replaced, so there'll be a brand new one. And then the one over in Bradford Terrace on the roof is also essentially rebuilt back to spec, as well as it's wrapped in a blanket of sorts to mitigate the decibels. So again, we invested in that last year. Obviously, you're not hearing it right now. If you're facing, those that are facing the circle drive, because it's off, so it can't get quieter. But once it turns back on, hopefully we won't have the noise as much as well, getting back to specifications.
Could the floods the other day with the heavy rain, did they diagnose why that happened?
So, great question. And so last Monday, wasn't this Monday, it was last Monday, the 27th. We had obviously the significant torrential downpours mixed with the ice and snow that was still on the roofs. And so the damage that was done was to about 12 to 14 apartments. And we have all the apartments, and fortunately nobody had to be displaced, and the repairs are being able to take care of being in-house. We were able to dry them out and dehumidify those spaces. It caught us a little by surprise, and I think we can be, Eric and I kind of, you always learn something, right? But now we have no snow on the roof, obviously we will get snow on the roof. So if we get another large rainfall, what we will be doing is having our maintenance team go on the roof to clear paths to the drains on the roof. What happened is we basically had ice and snow dams that built up around the drains that then went into essentially mechanical shafts. And so the similar on Bradford Terrace, because I was actually really wanted to get my hands wet, no pun intended, but was on the Bradford Terrace roof as well, doing the similar piece of getting paths to the drain so it could drain properly, because we had about 2 to 3 inches of standing water on some areas of the roof. Obviously, the historic roof is a little bit different, but that's what we learned. So hopefully we don't have that issue going forward. There was no, I heard through the rumor, a lightning strike. There was no lightning strike to the building. There was no roof failure to the contemporary areas. It was truly just a significant event that, as soon as we got one report, we were fighting an uphill battle, because then we got the next kind of 12, because at that point it was a trickle-down effect, right? And so as soon as we got that first report, we had Mark on the roof and another maintenance individual, C.G. Schmidt, was actually on the roof as well, helping us out clear some areas. So that's what we learned. Again, if you were affected, I apologize, and hopefully you've heard from us in kind of a time frame. Not yet?
Well, I was gone all last week, and I came back, nothing was done. Ian called me yesterday morning on my way to the airport coming home to remove my area rug to get clean. Other than that, nothing was done, and I was hoping, I'd be out of their way, they'd be out of my way. Even the floor that wasn't carpeted hasn't been cleaned from that dirty water. And I'm gonna track Eric down today. I just got back last night, so I'm kind of disappointed about that.
I am as well. So you'll track Eric down, I will also track Eric down. Because again, I anticipated that there were things happening. So that's an oversight, and I'll take ownership of that, and make sure Eric's aware. Again, if you see him as well,
Okay.
feel free to share it, but know that it will be shared immediately following this. And I was aware of the rug, but I thought that was the last piece, not the first piece.
Okay.
So my apologies.
Thank you.
What else? Anything? All right. Well, if there's nothing, really appreciate everybody's time this morning and questions. Again, the appreciation I have for not only you that are physically here, maybe watching, but for all residents working through this construction process. Again, full transparency, it's going to be a tougher 2 months. We'll make sure you're safe. We'll make sure you get to where you need to be, but you'll have to navigate the building slightly differently. There is a grand opening planned for you as residents, specifically in July. We have a large grand opening for you, as well as our community partners and different residents in August planned. But July should really kind of be the time frame where we're in our new building, we're in the renovated building, flooring's done, fitness center's open, things of that nature. So again, I don't take for granted what you all are working through right now in the construction of your home. Hopefully you see some of the pieces and some of the what is to come. I think once that dividing wall goes down, that will hopefully reinvigorate some of the excitement. At the same time, Lindsay Hall will be shut down, the hallway will be shut down, and so we'll have to navigate that. So again, your safety is our priority, as well as still try to provide the services and amenities that you expect.
When the wall comes down, does the front entrance open?
Yes, the front entrance opens. Good question. The question was, when that wall goes down, is the front entrance open? Yes. The front desk is installed, but the front desk staff will not be moving until probably June to their permanent location because of the construction that has to happen in and around that space. So, but you will have access to go in and out of the Circle Drive. The construction fence, dumpsters, porta john will all be gone. And then you still will have this front desk staff that will have to let you in through those doors, but they'll be remaining where they are.
And on the Circle Drive, how about the large pothole as we exit? There's a big.
We'll get that filled.
As you're heading out, there's a considerable dip.
You'll see of what we can do. At least even temporarily, we can put some cold pack or something in that to help alleviate that and then come up with a better permanent solution. So I will look at that. Anything else? All right. Well, enjoy the conference tournaments. Basketball, college basketball. If you want, Monday you'll be able to go into the bracket challenge that I like to put on with staff, prizes to be awarded, but you can fill out a bracket, they'll be available probably in the mailroom or near the front desk. If you don't know anything about basketball, well, it's called March Madness for a reason. You don't need to, because you can just pick whatever team you want. Marquette. We're all going to get behind Marquette, right?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
FS1.
And I don't think the Badgers are going to make it this year.
No.
I don't think they're going to make it. They lost last night, and I think if we're on the bubble, I think we've broken it. I don't think we're going to get in. But we have Marquette, so we're all going to be Golden Eagles this tournament. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
No, he's doing